Well, there you are. Again, Charlie Greer podcast. I do this every day today. So, again, with the problems with my camera. Anywho, who's it? Please like, share, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, the information's in the description for Cash App. My handle is Charlie Greer Podcast. And for Zelle, it's my email. Everything's in the description. Let's do this. So, creation story. I like paranormal. I like anything to do with like UFOs or cryptids or Bigfoot or ghosts or whatever. I mean, that's not my podcast. But I like to visit that world. Um, I just think it's crazy that like supposedly the first creation story is the Samaritan. Uh, they found these clay tablets. So it's Samaritans, something like that. Sumerians. Anyway, so they I guess the civilization sparked off around like 4,500 years ago. They found these clay tablets, and they talk. So the creation story, right? For how we became about was that their story is there was these godlike beings, the Anunnaki, that came from a planet called Nibiru. That every like 3,500 years or so, it does this rotation where it kind of gets close to the Earth. So they were having problems on their planet, and they needed to like fix the environment and this, that, and the other thing, and they needed gold to do it. So they went out looking around the universe, if you will. And of course, a lot of people know this story, but looking for gold. So they found Earth, and I guess it was primitive. They were just like, there weren't Homo sapiens yet. So they needed like a workforce to mine this gold. And supposedly that's how they came up with humans. They settled in Samaria, where it is there. They started a civilization called Edon. The first worker or whatever they made. Well, the first ones didn't work out. Supposedly their experiment. It took a while. The first ones were violent and big, and like, no, we can't. So the first like Homo sapien, Adamu was his name. Adamu, they called him. And they seemed to work out a bit. And we were smart enough to like learn language, and you can or agriculture or this, that, and the other, and build cities. But we were warned like not to breed too much, not to spread out. But what we did, that's what you're gonna do. Then there was a war, and this is the thing. Like if that's the first, like everything ties back to the Sumerian story. Eden, Adamu, Adam, the first person. It just there's this like thread through our history. Basically, it's like the same story. It's just different kind of that fascinates me. That literally everything can tie back to this weird thread of these gods coming to Earth for gold, because I guess gold has like this. It has to do with like gold can reflect space radiation or something like that. I don't know. To change their like atmosphere. Strange, mysterious world we live in. Perhaps it has something to do with that. Comment below. What do you think? Is that even a thing? It just blows my mind that like these stories again have this common thread. They kind of use the same types of names. And supposedly Nibiru is coming back. Every 4,500 or something like that. It'll be close enough where they can get. And this is the thing: if they've got such great technology, why can't they come? Why do they have to wait for Nibiru to be close enough to get to Earth? Why can't they just get there from Nibiru? I don't know. You would think if they had that technology, they'd be able to do whatever they want. Why couldn't they make their own gold, or maybe their technology is just so advanced it's not enough to? Obviously, it wasn't, because they got to wait for this rotation. Seems to me that there's something to the story. Now, people embellish. That's what they're going to do. People have been weaving yarns and telling stories. But they talk about these. The Egyptians talked about this. They the flood myth or whatever. Everything is tied. All these societies have the same kind of stories. These creation stories. It seems like something is there's some truth to this. Whether it's all true or not, why would everybody have these same stories? Didn't matter who they are, where they at and all around the world, how old it is. It kind of goes back to this creation story with the Anunnaki and Nibiru and Adamu and Edan, and then of course the story that we go down with the Garden of Eden and Adam was the first person. It seems like it's the same story, just a little tweaked, a little different, maybe in a translation. They, perhaps something like that did happen. Again, we kind of are a race of people with amnesia. Like we don't remember every generation, you know what I mean? Unless you like carve it in stone so people can remember it. And then again, languages change and something might happen to the stone. There might be a flood, there might be an earthquake, who knows? It'd be hard to keep up with these stories. But there's a thread of truth in all this. My intuition tells me there is, that my gut feeling says there's something about that. And now we're figuring out like they said that Neanderthals were dumb and stupid. Well, now they're changing their story. They're like, no, they weren't dumb and stupid. They were actually pretty smart. They had bigger brains than us. They were stronger, faster. I guess now they're saying that we bred with Neanderthals. Could there still be these the last remnants of these? People claim that Bigfoot might be, the hairy man beast, whatever. Sasquatch might be a remnant of some species that literally this used to live on Earth, and now they have to be elusive. And I don't know. It fascinates me. They talk about giants once roamed the Earth. A lot of ancient books talk about this. There's a story that came out about 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. The red-headed giant of Kandahar. And Kandahar is in like Afghanistan. And supposedly the couple elite forces, troops, ran into this like a red-headed giant. So the first one that got sent out, they were warned by these goat herders or whatever. They're like, look, man, you don't want to go in that mountainous area. There's giants there. They were like, John, oh, come on. We're Marines or whatever. I'll go in there, special forces. There's a bunch of us. There's 30 of us or something. So they sent the squad in first, then lost contact. No radio contact, no nothing. So like, what in the heck? Let's see. So they sent another squad in. And they were on a path. They came upon this carnage. They could tell something, it looked like a battle. They could see the radios and this, that, and the other. And there was a cliff and like an overhang and a cave. And then bam, quick, they said this big red-headed giant came out holding like a spear. And it was on. Like he speared a dude and they were like, and they had to shoot it. They for this big beast, this man, red-headed giant fell. And then they called back. I guess they killed it. They called back. And then they had to send like a big helicopter with a net to pick this thing up. Now, the strange thing about that, it sounds like, oh, yeah, right, a red-headed giant, Kandahar. But people have come forward. Multiple people that have had, like, literally were at the attack. And then the transport people that didn't even know about the other people talking, they've all came forward. And the story matches. They said the thing smelled. And is this a remnant of what they were talking about with Samaria? Like they said, the first humans that they Anunnaki like genetically engineered or whatever were these big, and they you couldn't control them. Um, did they find a big red-haired giant in Kandahar? I don't know. It's fascinating. I wouldn't want to run into one. Are they hunting these red-headed giants? Is that how? See, and the people around that area, they look, they know, they believe. Like, don't go. There's places you don't want to go. When I lived in Tennessee when I was a kid, in the hollers and the hillbilly mountains, man, they would talk about certain things. You don't want to go there. People didn't. There wasn't any road. I mean, you have to cross hollers and hills, and you don't want to be deep out there. No cell phone. No, they can't come get you. I mean, how would they find you? You know, we used to see strange things in the woods. I used to get like disoriented sometimes when I was in the woods. I used to play in the creek in the woods growing up. That was my thing, running the creek. You know, every once in a while, like my ears would ring and everything looked different. The colors were a little different. And I was just like, whoa, and I always left when that happened. And I've talked about this in previous episodes. Could it be that there's something to this? Like, we just don't know about certain, I've seen unidentified flying objects. My friends have seen unidentified flying objects. I have a close friend. I shouldn't name any names, but they were, after work and they were living around where I'm at. They went there was this park, and it's right beside this river here, and like a small river. And they just, just to chill out before they went home, smoke a cigarette in their truck or whatever, and pull up. There's a parking area right in front of the river, and right in front of him, he saw this glowing, like singular, like a cigar thing. Wasn't even that big, he said. It was like 20, 30 foot long, about 10 foot high, glowing. You can see the glow in the water. And it literally went past right above the river. And right after it did, before he could get out of there were these like officials, like cops and people like, did you see anything? Like right on it. He's like, no, he lied. He's like, I didn't see anything. And then he got out of there. They go, leave. Why would they, if he did see that, then why would they, and I believe him, why would the state people, whoever they were, federal agents, right there with the cops? Like, were they tracking this thing? Again, I think there's stuff that it goes back to this mysterious creation story. Like, we just don't know. You think we want, like, oh, science and history. Yeah, well, you would think that we might perhaps, but it could be. And I think that they know a lot more than they admit. It could be technology they don't want in the wrong hands. I get that too. You don't want some bad people having some weird weapon that they only have, or technology that they only know how to. Well, they might want to rule the world. And I'm the king. Human behavior, man, psychology. So there's some people that are bad. You hope and think that, like, no, people are good. Most people are. It's just the bad ones. I've seen UFOs. Mostly lights and strange things. One time I think I saw a hologram, because I thought I'd seen this UFO. And I was living in Champaign-Urbana at the time, and it went over my house. The neighbors saw it too. It was silent. I thought a plane was crashing. And then when because it was just coming through the trees, I thought, what in the world? And I saw it, crossed over the house. I ran outside. I couldn't see it. And I didn't hear anything. It was raining and cold. Later on, the neighbors like, yeah, I saw it too. Then right after that, there used to be an Air Force base outside of Champaign in Rantoul. It had big landing strips and stuff. It was an Air Force base. They closed it though. During the 90s, they closed that. So right after we saw this UFO, they released a statement saying they were going to be using this new technology, like this hologram technology. It was on the news. It was in the newspaper. So I thought maybe that's what I saw. Maybe I saw one of these holograms they were talking about. Maybe they wanted to put that out so people, when they see stuff, who knows? And that was back in the early 90s. That was like 30 years ago. So what have they probably perfected it by now, you know? Some people claim there's going to be this like, they're planning like a fake alien invasion, you know? A lot of people have come forward and said that's what they're doing. I don't know. I mean, I hope not, but you never know. We do have special secret bases out in the desert, S4, S10, Area 51, whatever, Groom Lake, they're all over. Bob Lazar claimed that he worked on one of these advanced spacecraft. Bob Lazar was a scientist guy, and he claimed that he worked there. He came out in the 80s. Now he's saying, at first he was like, he didn't know where it came from. Now he's saying that that some of them were archaeology. They were digging for these things. They found them. Archaeologists were digging for other things and came across and dug up some kind of advanced UFO. Element 115, he said it was an anti-gravity element, and they made fun of him. And now they're saying that's real. They actually know about element 115. And it's a stable element. Suppose you can literally hold this thing, pebbles of it or whatever, and it creates this like anti-gravity fuel that doesn't degrade. Or it's strange. All through, again, could it be a thread of truth through all this? I've seen weird stuff. I've had friends that see weird stuff. Living in LA, they literally will tell. There's places that are known to be haunted. Everybody knows. You would think I've seen some like really crazy paranormal stuff in LA. I've talked about it in, again, previous episodes. And you would think that like in a city, a metropolis like that, you wouldn't, but you do. Supposedly in like Manhattan and New York, people see UFOs a lot. Something could be there could be something to this. That for one, they probably don't want to tell us because they don't know the whole truth. They don't know the whole story. They don't know the linear story of like, well, see, they don't want to come out and sound like me. Well, maybe there is some. No, they want to be able to like say they can protect us, and we know. And I get that. It's not even like it just makes sense to me that they would want to keep people in the dark because they don't know. And they might say something that, and it might upset the general population. Comment below. What do you think? Do you believe in this Anunnaki creation story, looking for gold, mining for gold to send back to Nibiru so they can like cleanse their atmosphere? Sounds strange. Eden, the first like place they built on Earth, sounds like Eden. Adamu sounds exactly like Adam, the first human, supposedly. I don't know. Again, this is my humble opinion, assumption, speculation. You would think, that we'd have more evidence. Like you would think that, like, is there a video of this redheaded giant in Kandahar? Are they holding it back? Surely somebody filmed it or took a picture. Are there more? Bigfoot, you would think that they have. Now, they say they have like DNA and hair, but it always comes back to be like human or whatever. Is that because it is like a lost like relative of us? Could like a Bigfoot in reality be a Neanderthal or some kind of, they know there used to be Bigfoot-like creatures roaming the earth. Gigantopithecus, I think its name was, a huge, looked like Bigfoot. Hairy, tall, walked on two legs. It looks exactly like a Bigfoot. They know it lived. Could it be just a remnant of that? You would think that they'd have, again, most Bigfoot videos and UFO videos and alien videos are so sketchy. You just don't know. Bigfoot's like a blob squat. It's like, oh, what? And it'd be easy to fake a lot, especially with the, computer programs and all this stuff. So you have to take it all with a grain of salt. You just can't be blindfolded. I believe. No, you don't want to. You want to have you want to be a skeptic, a skeptical mind. You don't want to be, falling for everything. Because I think most of it is fake or embellishment. People come up with stories. Uh, Again, you have to have an open mind, but you have to be a skeptic as well. You have a harmonious balance of truth and the unknown. You don't want to be blindly, uh, believing everything that you even see. See, your eyes can play tricks on you. Because if you can't wrap your mind or your vision, your thoughts, and then your brain will create this just to try to understand it, like a narrative. So you're like, well, I thought then it was that. It might have been who, what? See, it could be. It could be. You got to again, even your own stuff. You got to be like, hey, wait a minute, maybe, perhaps, I don't know. Comment below. What do you think? The creation story, the Anunnaki, Samaria. It fascinates me. Comment below. What do you think? Again, please like, share, and subscribe. You want to support the channel? The information's in the description for Cash App. My handle is charliegreerpodcast, and Zelle. It's my email. All that's in the description. But I'll be back tomorrow. I love y'all. Be blessed. Cheers.